Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 13th Lebanon City Council meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Sure. Mike Kincaid.
Present.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Sandra Jasonowski.
Here.
Dick Robertson.
Here.
John Copeland is excused this evening. Sierra Messenger.
Present.
And Robert Hawkins.
Here.
Thanks.
Okay, move on to the approval of our minutes of our previous meetings. Our first set of minutes is from January 12th. Our second set is February 9th, and then our third set is February 23rd. Are there any changes or edits to those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Sierra. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. All right. We will be doing the Child Abuse Prevention Month proclamation our next meeting. Just everybody FYI on that one. So we'll move on to the swearing in tonight of some new Lebanon Fire Department or firefighters. Chief Betts.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have the opportunity to swear in two of our newest recruit firefighters, Mike Barna and Josh Westfall. Both Mike and Josh are in the Northside Fire Academy, which started April 6th. They're currently going through their EMT courses. Both are doing a wonderful job. And we'll start off tonight by inviting Mike Barna up with a representative for the swearing in.
Very good. All right, so let's do left hand on the Bible. After me. I state your name.
I, Mike Barna,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and all laws and ordinances
and all laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon.
of the City of Lebanon.
And I will faithfully discharge my duties
And I will faithfully discharge my duties
and obey all true orders
and obey all true orders
of the officers appointed over me
of the officers appointed over me
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department.
as a member of the Lebanon Fire
To the
Department.
best of my ability,
To the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank Mayor Gentry and the council. This is very exciting, and I can't wait to join this community and prove my worth. Thank you guys so much.
I would like to invite up Josh Westfall and representative.
I state your name.
I, Josh Westfall,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana
and all laws and ordinances
and all laws and ordinances
of the City of Lebanon.
of the City of Lebanon.
And I will faithfully discharge my duties
And I will faithfully discharge my duties
and obey all true orders
and obey all true orders
of the officers appointed over me
of the officers appointed over me
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department.
as a member of the Lebanon Fire Department
To the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Mayor Gentry, council, I appreciate this opportunity to serve my community, get through the fire academy, and be an asset to everyone that lives in this great city. Thank you.
You want to close out, Chief?
Looking forward to these two careers getting started. Like I said before, they're doing a wonderful job in the academy, and I will keep everyone posted with their progress through the Board of Public Works and Safety reports.
Thank you, Chief. All right, we'll stand in a brief recess until the fall of the gavel. Just so if you don't want to stay, feel free to leave. But if not, we have an interesting meeting, so your choice. So we'll stand until the fall of the gavel.
After two recruits and their families and everyone else.
All right, we'll re-adjourn. We'll move on to our next item here. This will be item G. This is our April 15th DLGF TIF Management Report from Baker Tilly.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm Julia Dankman here with Baker Tilly, along with my colleague Emma Adlam, and I'm here to present the DLGF TIF Management Report. This report fulfills the statutory requirement that the RDC files its activities on the prior calendar year. First, I'll just go over a couple of the RDC reporting requirements that you have throughout the year. This is one of the first ones that you'll hit. After this, in June, pass-through determination, following that TIF neutralizations, your annual spending plan, and then annually your annual TIF report, which happens usually in May or June. So the DLGF requires that we name the redevelopment commission members for every year reporting on the prior year. So in 2025, these were your redevelopment commission members. Moving on, we have to list all of the TIF allocation areas. There are a bunch of allocation areas. You'll see the establishment dates and the expiration dates for all of them. The industrial park is one of your biggest areas. It's been expanded 7 different times. On the following page, you'll also see a couple of single site TIF development allocation areas. So here are these again with your established dates, your expiration dates, and then you'll see some of your newer ones down here. As a part of the requirement, all of the revenues and expenditures have to be categorized by allocation area per the requirement. So you'll see those there. For each allocation area, this includes the redevelopment commission accounts as well as the trustee held bond accounts. So that's why some of these may seem larger than others. For example, your Lebanon Industrial Park with that roughly $8 million in expenditures, that's due to mostly the $4 million payoff of the shell building that happened in 2025. And then also you'll see this field house expenditures are a little bit larger with the $4 million, and that's mostly due to the issuance of the infrastructure phase 2 bonds. So as it also has to be categorized by the State Board of Accounts classifications. So for example, your debt services and your interest, it's all broken out by that. You also have to differentiate per grants and loans and see what all those the redevelopment commission has entered into, excuse me. The DLGF also requires a list of all of the individual funds to be listed. There's a lot of them. For the sake of this presentation, we did not include them, but if you want to look at any specific funds, it's in that report that's in front of you. And then lastly, debt payments. Here you'll see the total principal and interest outstanding. That's as of December 31st, 2025, along with the principal and interest paid on debt also as of December 31st, 2025. Here you'll see the maturity of the bonds, so the last day that they can be paid off. You have a lot of bonds in the industrial area, about 7 of them, and then a couple other single site developer TIF bonds. Same with on this page, and you'll see a couple of those newer ones here, like those field house and new cold bonds. You do have one TIF housing allocation area, and that's the Waterford allocation area that was established back in 2020. You haven't built any houses since then, but we are still required to note it, so it's right there. And then just as a little side note, the school work coordinator is paid from those non-TIF lease revenues received by the Redevelopment Commission. And that is all I have for you. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Any questions for Julia from the council? No, sir. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes kind of our opening. With that, move on to old business. First item up here will be Resolution 2026-10. This is council to consider the fiscal plan for the annexation related to 1693 East, 250 South. Ben.
Figure out which cord's plugged in here. All right, these next two items on your agenda, this Resolution 2026-10, and then the Ordinance 2026-07 are both related to the annexation that was introduced at the last council meeting by my colleague Christy Spencer. First, the item of business tonight is a resolution related to the fiscal plan. Indiana statute requires the council to adopt via resolution a fiscal plan related to every annexation. So I will quickly just give a quick recap of the process that has got us to this point tonight. I'll go over really quickly the fiscal plan because this is going to be owned by a tax exempt entity. There's not a whole lot of information in the fiscal plan because there's no property tax revenue and there's really no cost to the municipality associated with it either. But quick recap of the process. This is a 100% voluntary annexation, also called a super voluntary annexation. And what that means is every property owner within the annexation territory has requested annexation to the city of Lebanon. The process first requires the Lebanon Plan Commission to evaluate the comprehensive plan and all their documents, including a concept plan from the applicant to determine a recommendation on zoning for the property upon annexation. That did take place at the Plan Commission meeting in March, and they did send a unanimous recommendation for the institutional zoning classification. At your last council meeting, the annexation ordinance was introduced and a public hearing held. And then this meeting, the two final components would be the adoption of the fiscal plan via resolution and then consideration after second reading of the annexation ordinance. So first, the fiscal plan, resolution 2026-10. As you can see here, just quickly highlight the 5-acre property that is part of the request for annexation down on East 250 South across from the Lebanon Municipal Airport. This is the site for water booster station for Lebanon Utilities. They have already filed plans with the county. I know they do have drainage approval from the county. If they don't have construction plans or permits issued from the county, they should have it at any date. So they've already started the process of getting plans reviewed and approved through the county to be able to start construction. And in the meantime, this annexation is going through long-term. It made sense for a Lebanon Utilities installation to be in the city of Lebanon. So they're going through that, but they do already have plans going through getting reviewed and approved by the county. So in terms of the fiscal plan, as I mentioned, there are two components of that. Is an evaluation of additional expenses, municipal expenses related to an annexation. And that'd be looking at additional services that might need to be provided, police, fire, Department of Public Works, planning, et cetera. And then also additional revenues as a result of annexation, the assessed value, potential tax revenue, how it might affect our overall assessed value in the city, how it might affect the tax levy and the property tax rate. The quick summary is here on the fiscal impact page. It's a little hard to see, but that first one says, as a result of this annexation, the assessed value of the city will not increase as the parcel is owned by the city and is considered tax exempt. So there will be no overall change to the assessed value of the city, and thus will have no impact on the tax levy or property tax rate, and will not generate additional revenue to the city. That second one highlighted says that it is anticipated that there will be no additional cost to the city as a direct result of this annexation. The reason for that is, and I'll go back, the road that's adjacent to this annexation is already in the city, so there is no additional lane miles that will need to be maintained by the Department of Works. That area is we already respond to that from a fire and police perspective because that road is already within the city. So there really are no additional costs directly as a result of this annexation. So where you have no additional revenue, no additional cost, that essentially is the summary of the fiscal plan. In fact, they didn't even do a chart for me because there'd be no numbers to put into the chart. So that is the quick summary of the fiscal plan. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions from Ben from council? No, sir. Yep, Taylor.
Just a quick one. Initially, you said that the homeowners or whoever out there were okay and they had approved the annexation annexation or put in for it?
The property owner that owns the property that's part of the annexation, they submitted a petition for annexation.
So there's more than that 5 acres?
No,
that
that's the
city
only
owns?
one. That's what I just said. That's the definition of a super voluntary annexation, that all owners, in this case, there is one owner of 5 acres.
Okay, that's all I want.
Yep.
Questions for Ben on that? And just to clarify, Sandra, right, so Lebanon Utilities is the property owner, right? Which shouldn't we own Lebanon Utilities? So it's kind of us asking ourselves for annexation a little bit on this one. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll have Rob read it, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council Resolution 2026-10, again, is a resolution by this council establishing a fiscal plan for the annexation of certain territory to the city. Whereas the area to be annexed is legally described in Exhibit A as well as depicted in Exhibit B pursuant to Indiana law, this council is required to adopt a written fiscal plan prior to the passage of the annexation ordinance 2026-07. The fiscal plans included in Exhibit C has been indicated. It's been prepared, presented to this council for consideration. Council finds that the fiscal plan has been reviewed and complies with the requirements of Indiana law and hereby is approved for the areas sought to be annexed.
Rob, any public comment concerning Resolution 2026-10? Seeing none. Any discussion from council comments? No. Is there a motion concerning Resolution 2026-10? We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second from Rob. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That resolution is adopted. Thank you, council. All right, now we'll go to second reading of ordinance 2026-07. This also is related, of course, to the annexation that we just were discussing, the fiscal plan at 1693 East, 250 South. Ben.
Real quick, brief recap, because I know this was introduced to you last time. Again, this is the final step, second reading of the ordinance. We just adopted the fiscal plan, and now it's consideration of adoption of the annexation ordinance. Just a quick recap. Again, the Plan Commission did recommend the institutional zoning classification. The annexation area will be assigned to Council District 2, and the annexation area shall be made part of the water and wastewater civil rate districts. Again, here's the site in question. This is just a quick view of the area of the comprehensive plan that this is located. And you can see there's a mix of industrial, institutional, and mixed density residential. This in an utility installation is considered parts of those areas, and they're scattered throughout the city in areas like this. So this is something that is consistent with the comprehensive plan for the city. And then, as I mentioned, there was a concept plan that was provided with the annexation that shows you conceptually how the site will be developed for the water booster station in support of the request for the institutional zoning classification. So with that, that's a quick summary, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And if you're curious on the design, these would be similar to the ground storage tank in Everlong Park. So it's not a big water tower with the ground storage tank. So if you guys have seen the one in Southside Park, that's what these would look like. So.
Owner again, if there's another owner on this property, I'm just, where is it at in that site?
No, it's one owner. The owner is Lebanon Utilities.
Yes.
So then they're the ones that put in for the annexation?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I thought you said there was another owner. That's why I asked that question earlier.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion. City of Lebanon Utilities is the owner of all 5 acres that's part of this annexation. It is one owner, one petition.
Yep. Any other questions for Ben at this time from council? Okay. Rob, you read, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Council Ordinance 2026-07, again, is an ordinance annexing certain territory to the city of Lebanon. Has been indicated 100% of the owners of the parcels proposed for annexations identified in Exhibit A and B. That's defined as the annexation area. The Lebanon Plan Commission held a public hearing at its meeting on March 16, 2026, and forwarded to this council with a favorable recommendation 6-0 to assign the institutional IN zoning classification for the annexation area. This council conducted a public hearing at its last meeting on March 23rd, 2026. It also adopted a fiscal plan a few moments ago for the annexation of the annexation area. The annexation area meets the contiguity requirements under Indiana law, and this council finds that the annexation area is hereby declared annexed to and declared to be a part of the city of Lebanon. It's further to include contiguous public highways and right-of-ways, which are adjacent to the annexation area. Has been indicated, it's assigned Council District 2, and again, is assigned institutional zoning classification. And this annexation area shall be made part of the water and wastewater civil rate districts, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon passage and is required by Indiana law.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions or further comments from council at this time? Okay. Any public comment concerning ordinance 2026-07? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and keep comments to 3 minutes if possible.
Phil Graybiel, Indianapolis, Pike Township. Just wanted to make comments on how this would affect the LEAP district. I don't think that have the permits been approved for discharge yet for the wastewater.
From IDEM?
Correct.
No, not at this point.
Yeah, so I would say vote no on this ordinance until those are approved. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Additional public comment?
Good evening. My name is Donna.
Pull it down. Yeah. There you go.
My name is Donna Blair. I reside at 4601 Pine Park Lane in Indianapolis, and I'm also going to ask that you vote no.
Thank you for your comments. Additional comments? Seeing no sudden movements. Okay. Final thoughts, discussion from council?
No, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion concerning ordinance 2026-07?
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance 2026-07.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Rob. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, council. All right, that concludes what I have for old business. Anything from council? Okay. New business then. This is ordinance 2026-08. This is concerning an amendment to Chapter 76 of our traffic schedule concerning an always stop at County Road 350 West and 300 North, also called Hazel Ridge Road at that point. This would be an always stop, and this is on first reading. Kevin is getting his continuing education this week at a conference in someplace warmer than here, which is surprising how nice it was today. But so I'm actually presenting this ordinance tonight. If you're familiar with this intersection, if you're traveling Hazel Ridge Road, this is kind of that weird, funky intersection off of 200 West, where you kind of have a stop sign, and there's also kind of a road that swings out to the left. They are rebuilding that road as part of the Meta project. They're going to be completely rebuilding that section of road up to 52, as well as extending it down to 32 as well as part of the overall infrastructure improvements. So trying to use this opportunity to kind of clean up some of the weird intersection there. Right now today, if you travel Hazel Ridge Road coming from the west heading east, there's kind of a slip lane that you just kind of fly off and make the corner or make the turn. But if you go straight, then there's a stop sign. So it's a very unique intersection in this area, and we're trying to make things a little safer and flow more properly. So it would take it to more of a standard all-way or three-way intersection there that all three ways would stop and then proceed. So we would be eliminating the left-hand or the slip lanes, and just making it more of a functional triple or three-way stop. So I didn't bring any map tonight. Kevin can bring it in at our second reading at next meeting. But really it's just kind of cleaning up what's kind of how it used to always be, and trying to, if we're going to be rebuilding it, let's make sure it's a safe intersection. So with that, Rob, I'll have you read the ordinance and we'll have public comment.
Thank you, Mayor. Council Ordinance 2026-08 is an ordinance concerning an amendment to Chapter 76, which is traffic schedules, to the city code. This council has jurisdiction over the public thoroughfares and streets within the corporate boundaries of the city and believes it's in the best interests of the public's health, safety, and welfare to amend Chapter 76 traffic schedules. This council finds, as of the effective date of this ordinance, Chapter 76, Schedule 5, stop intersections of the city code shall be amended to include the following: County Road 350 West and County Road 300 North, which is Hazel Rig Road. It will be an all-way stop. The remaining portions of Chapter 76 of the city code is not affected by this ordinance, shall remain in full force and effect, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect in accordance with Indiana law.
Thank you, Rob. And I do want to mention too, that road's actually already under construction as well too. So they're, a few weeks ago, they met with all of sent out notices to all the neighbors and met with them. And so they're aware of kind of the progress, but it should be a fairly quick reconstruction of it. They're converting a section of it from gravel to asphalt. And then it's kind of going to be a temporary condition. And then they would be rebuilding it at the end. Because it's going to be kind of used as the haul road for Meta. So it's probably going to get broken down quite a bit. So then they will totally rebuild it and then hand it over to the city at the completion of the project. So there's kind of a two-phase construction of that project. So Kevin can go into more detail about it at the next meeting, but I just want to give you a heads up on that. So is there any public comment concerning ordinance 2026-08? Okay. Seeing no sudden movement, we'll take that up for second reading at our next meeting, which will be April 27th at 7:15 p.m. That concludes what I have for new business. Anything from council?
Yeah, I have two things.
Sure.
Do you know when studies will be completed?
I do not know.
Don't have any date or any idea?
They're still working through whatever the engineers are working through on that. So I don't have a date yet.
And the other thing, we got an email. Did everybody get that email? I brought it in. Kelly Shepherd regarding the lighting out that we were talking about last time, and now the dust storms they're having out there. Issues?
So we have spoken with them about the lighting. Actually, Ben, you want to touch on that? You were the one that had the conversation.
Touch on both because I think a lot of the dust issues were coming from the gravel section of the county roads. And at least what my understanding was, and we passed along to the contractors at night, they're actually doing dust control during the daytime, but they weren't doing it at nighttime. So they were now instructing their water trucks to continue through the night to be able to address some of those dust issues. On the lighting, we've been having ongoing conversations with them for several months to try to get it addressed. And I'm fully aware that it is not addressed adequately. I just had a conversation with them earlier today. They have another lighting provider that's bringing in a different type of light standard that they're hoping will be a softer white and maybe less intense light. And this light standard also allows for shields to be placed on the light source, which is my biggest issue, is the glare. So they're looking at those as we speak. I'm working on scheduling a follow-up conversation with next Monday. I'm expecting them to implement something by the end of the month. So that's the goal, is to try to get that addressed as quickly as possible.
Talk to the Shepherds then and let them know that you're working on that with the water.
I don't know that I've ever received an email from Shepherd. So if you could forward that to me, I'd be happy to respond.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then next meeting, do you think you could come back and give us an update on how things are going with them? Like if they did get the new ones installed, because I'd like to kind of see, make sure things are heading in the right direction for a little bit improvements here and there, just to make it a little easier.
We've made it abundantly clear to them that the current conditions are, and again, the challenge is they are, when the lights are on, it's because they're working out there, right? And so there are OSHA requirements, but there are issues obviously with the impact to the area, right? And so, of course, local ordinance also can't override federal law either, right? So there's this kind of push-pull, right? And so, frankly, we kind of told them, unless we can figure out a solution, like we're going to stop working at night. Like that's just not going to be, it's not feasible, right? So they've been telling us, hey, we're working on solutions. We've presented them options, and we're kind of at we're kind of done at this point. We're like, we've kind of given all time, we've got in the month to resolve it. So we should certainly at our next meeting by the 27th, we should see at least some movement from them on that. But yeah, if they can't get it resolved by the end of the month, we're going to be like, we're not going to be able to work at night anymore. So
I can, when I drive at night, I mean, from all the way over here, I can see the glow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's even brighter
Yeah.
the closer you are, obviously.
And really, it's the shielding is the biggest issue, right? Because if it can be shielded, there's not light leaving it, right? And that's the challenge. So.
The irony is they take light measurements around the property and it measures 0. It's not light spill. It's the source of light is causing glaring. So I've seen pictures of their light meters and it literally measures 0 foot candles at their property line. So there's not light spill, which we can also address. It is the glares. And so that the shields are the most important thing. Other things we're talking about with them, they do have mounds that are part of their site development. We've asked them about moving up the schedule on building the mounds, particularly in areas where we know that there are adjacent residences, and that will help significantly. That was probably actually the biggest reason that Eli Lilly, while we did get some complaints about lights, it wasn't as significant because that was literally the first thing they did is build the mounds around the property perimeter. So we're talking to them about doing that. And then they also have a crew that basically walks the perimeter and investigates lights. And we're going to make sure, I think one of the other issues is some of the lighting for their parking areas that are on 32. When it gets windy, some of those light standards move. And so a few of them got turned towards 32. And so we're going to ask them to make sure their crews, when they're going out, double check those things when they walk past those areas and adjust them where they need to do that. So those should address some of the things that we've heard. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, comments, new business from council? Mike, go ahead, Rob.
One quick thing, and just talking with both of you before the meeting started, I got a couple emails from citizens about our UTV ordinance. I let them know that we are still in the process of getting all that developed. Rob has informed me that he may have a draft ready to go. Hopefully we'll get that out so that everybody can see it. One key issue that I'd like everybody to think about is, since this is not a slow-moving vehicle, does not require a slow-moving vehicle sign, they can drive the speed limit. Will we allow them on Indianapolis Avenue? And that is a request from, I know at least one farmer that says, I drive mine into town if I could, but I would have to access Indianapolis Avenue. So I said I would bring that up. And so hopefully next meeting, we'll have at least a draft that we can look at to present and get that ball rolling.
And Rob, and are they permitted ever on state highways or no?
No.
Okay, so this is strictly, so
and
32 and 39 are
Correct me
totally
if I'm
out.
wrong, Rob. The state legislature has talked about them this year because so many cities are going to them. I truly believe that here shortly, it's going to be something that's going to be just like the mopeds, where they're going to have to take it to the BMV and get it licensed. And then it will be the state's issue then. But I'd like to get them at least allowed in right now, since we got the golf cart ordinance taken and everybody's enjoying that. Let's let our UTV personnel enjoy it also.
Are the UTVs, are they 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers? Are those
No,
considered?
no. They look just like the golf cart.
Okay.
Only they
know what you're
are,
talking
most
about
of them come with a full body.
Where do the
Doors,
3 and-
windows, they actually are safer. They have roll bars in them and everything. And so they'll have to go through the same requirements as lighting and stuff if they're going to be operated at night. And then hopefully
Category does the 3 or 4-wheeler fall in?
3-wheelers are illegal. You cannot have those on the roadway anymore. What am I trying to get here? The ones that the guys take hunting, 4-wheelers, those are not anything that we are looking to put on the city streets. The only thing we want is golf carts and UTVs only, or side-by-side cars. Those are the only things that we deem safe enough to be on our city streets.
All right, any other new business from council? Okay, I'll move on to claims. Entertain motion concerning the claims.
Make a motion to pay the claims.
Motion to pay the claims from Mike. Is there a second? Second from Keith. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That's approved. Mike, how'd the pancake supper go?
Yeah, quick report on the Lebanon Kiwanis Pancake Supper. We served 1,008 people, paid people came through, and there were some other people that came through because we give away tickets to nursing homes and other facilities like that. And we raised around $40,000, which we'll spend on children's program right here in Lebanon. Examples would be scholarships for seniors and a lot of other programs in all of the middle schools and the elementary schools. But it's a good deal. And we donate money to the parks and so forth.
Great work, Mike. That's why I let you do the plugs, because you guys impact the community here. So appreciate that. So
Next year, it'll be the second week of April. Be our-
don't start this early.
You don't have tickets.
Just
yet,
find
do
you for tickets, right?
Tickets are not available
Take
yet.
reservations for tickets.
It'll be the 73rd year that we do it.
Very good. Thank you, Mike, and thank you for the update. So, all right, with that, we entertain a motion. Unless there's any other announcements or discussion. We entertain a
I have
motion.
a question.
Oh, sure.
I hate to bring up a sore subject, but I know we don't have a judge, but are we still trying to at least move that forward to the day that's, or get everything organized or something, so the day that we find the judge, that we can open the door and start working?
That's probably a question more for Tanya's office. I don't know if it's advanced much since Judge Cruz resigned. However, I would say that I think we are working on the website side of that.
Yes.
So that's helping.
American Legal, they're working towards getting us updated.
But what's unique about a judge position, even though it's a city judge, it's appointed by, vacancies are filled by the governor. So that's the governor would actually appoint the new city judge here. Now, just we haven't had a chance to kind of brief all you guys on this. You could, if you chose to, could appoint an interim judge. And this is, I'm getting a little over my skis here, Rob, so feel free to kick me. I think they still have to meet the requirements so it has to be an attorney that lives within the state limits of Lebanon. So we can appoint an interim judge if you wanted to do that. However, it's not a guarantee that that's the person who the governor will appoint. However, I would also say, though, that in other communities, the person that the city council appoints, I think the governor, especially from municipal court, the governor gives some deference to that. So take that as you will, but that's a council function on who you guys want to appoint as judge. That's not executive branch, that's fully legislative. So that's your guys' call on what would happen there.
So should we start searching for a candidate?
It's probably worth the conversation. Yep.
And when they walk into that position, can we have all of the, the laws and everything and the fines and all that stuff done?
I mean,
Until American Legal updates the code.
Okay, all right.
that's been the biggest issue. But I mean, getting an interim judge will help, though, because I mean, frankly, we need someone that's kind of the spearhead and helping push it, right? And so certainly Judge Cruz was doing that on his timeline and on his priorities that he was working on. So, but the challenge is, right, we have a lot of things happening in the city, obviously, of course. And so without someone in that judge role that's saying, hey, this is something we need to keep pushing forward, it's a challenge to keep it kind of on the front burner, so to speak. So having an interim judge appointed would be helpful, I would say, to help keep moving that project forward. So, but we do have a court, it's just vacant right now. So
I'll kind of put feelers out there and see if we can get somebody and bring them to the council for a talk.
Yep.
Okay.
So again, just has to be a resident of the city and an attorney. So, all right. With that,
Motion we adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Rob. All fair, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Our next city council meeting will be April 27th at 7:15 p.m. We are adjourned.